What's going on, guys? Welcome to Muscle Index. So in this new series, we're going to be looking at a variety of different muscles, groups of muscles, and dysfunctions in the body. And we're going to be approaching it in a more systematic way instead of just treating, foam rolling, and stretching them. So today's topic is going to be on the lateral sling. This group of muscles consists of the glute min, medius, TFL, as well as the IT band. So we'll take a different approach instead of just talking about the IT band alone and look at the muscles surrounding it and the implications that dysfunctions have on the rest of the body. So with the popularity of talking about the IT band, especially in runners, knee pain is a huge problem that usually arises. So the IT band is made up of connective tissue and not really muscle. So we'll be kind of looking at the members of this lateral sling and how it affects the body. So we're going to start with the glute medius. All right. What it is, it's one of the most important hip stabilizers that we have on the body. It keeps our pelvis nice and level, and it's almost more of an endurance muscle than just pure strength. It also assists in internal rotation, which helps you at the bottom of a squat and aids you keeping your back and your spine in a healthy position. As well as helping internal rotation, it also abducts at the hip, keeping your leg out the entire time, all right? So over the past maybe 5 to 10 years, you see a lot of people doing banded walks. The reason that we're doing this is not to grow your glutes, it's really to activate your hip stabilizers, the glute medius, as well as your external rotators, i.e. pushing your knees out. The reason why we want to keep these active and strong is so we take the load off of other muscles, such as the TFL. So the TFL is a tiny little muscle right by your pocket. It's kind of called the pocket muscle, okay? So this guy gets super overwhelmed and tight whenever the glute medius isn't doing its job. Same with the glute min. I mean, glute min should be also pulling some weight as well. After the TFL is overworked and tight, it leads into IT band dysfunction. We spoke about knee pain. What's also a huge implication with dysfunctions of these muscles is back pain. Back pain in the 𝘀𝗺𝗆 region is also extremely common with a weakness in the glute med. You'll see time and time again therapists, when you walk into a massage clinic or physio, they come in with a hurt back, you pull something in your back. And they go right into just to treat the 𝘀𝗺𝗆. Maybe a little bit of hip work, but they don't get around to actually strengthening these muscles and getting them to the full potential, which in the long run will keep you a lot healthier and it will kind of give you a bit more knowledge as to how you should be training. Like, it sucks you hurt your back, but usually it's not your back that's the problem. All right, so we spoke about the IT band and the issues and a little bit of back pain. Another big one with dysfunction of the lateral sling muscles are hip hike. So hip hike is when one side of the hip is a bit higher than the other one. So this causes lower back pain, tightness in the hips, and obviously even leading to scoliosis. So if we look at what hip hike looks like, you can kind of see or kind of take a guess what muscles are going to be obviously tight and what muscles will be stretched out. Again, that famous 𝘀𝗺𝗆 is right in the mix. It's going to be extremely tight, pulling your spine to one side, right? So what would we do in this situation? Would we just mindlessly treat and stretch the 𝘀𝗺𝗆? Or would we want to get down to actually what's going on with the body and treat it both upstream as well as downstream? So the more systematic approach would be strengthening all the muscles in the lateral sling in a functional manner. So we're not just going to be doing mindless steps with a monster walk for miles and miles. That's a good way to start to kind of get what the glute med should feel like and turn it on. But we also want to put some emphasis on the rotation of our hips. We need to have internal and external rotation on point. So no matter what condition you do have, we should be keeping this sling of muscles kind of in check and functioning well and healthy. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple exercises. The first one is going to be one of my favorite. Anything unilateral is definitely going to get your hip stabilizers, especially glute med, to be working overtime. All right, so the first exercise I'm going to show you guys is going to be a unilateral kettlebell RDL with a lateral reach. So having that lateral reach to the outside of our foot that's on the ground is going to force us to really make sure our pelvis is as neutral as we could possibly get it. Okay, this is a great one if you have hip hike, if you have lower back issues, or if you just want to strengthen the posterior chain. So you're going to set this one up by putting one foot on the ground, obviously making sure your foot's grounded. Grab a kettlebell with the opposite hand, find your position and stay nice and tall. From this position, you're going to kick back the leg that's not on the ground and hinge over simultaneously with that kettlebell. As you're doing this, you're not trying to get the kettlebell to the left of your right foot, you're trying to get the kettlebell to the right of your right foot. If you can't make the distance right away, try going in baby steps and segment it over the next few weeks. All right, so the second exercise, guys, is going to be the side plank clamshell. So with the side plank clamshell, we're going to be on our side, strengthening the whole lateral aspect of our body. We're even talking obliques, lateral side of the hip, and even a little bit of the shoulder too. So this is one that is really good for bulletproofing your whole lateral sling and then some. So step by step with the side plank clamshell, we're gonna get on the ground, get our shoulder in a stable position, try to get our hips under us with our knees slightly bent. So the first part of the movement, we're gonna go into a side plank, but our knees are obviously gonna be bent, all right? Make sure your body is nice and straight against the ground. After that, once we're in the air, we're gonna pull the top knee apart from our body and use that hip, as well as the left hip that's on the ground. So each rep, we're doing a side plank, holding that, and then going into a clamshell for a couple seconds, and then repeating it. All right, guys, so try out those 2 exercises to bulletproof your body from lateral sling issues such as hip hike, QL pain, back pain, and things like we spoke about. There's a lot more different lateral sling exercises out there, including rotational ones. So if you guys are curious, don't be afraid to hit me up. Again, take care. I'll see you on the next one.